I recently had the privilege of going to the 2024 Robinhood Summit and sitting down with Vlad Tenev, co founder and CEO at Robinhood. See, Vlad's leadership has been instrumental in transforming the way that retail investors access financial markets with continuously delivering fast, user friendly trading experiences with also industry leading competitive pricing across simply every single product that they offer. In this conversation, we dive into Robinhood's vision of the future, including their plans of adding new products like the introduction of futures trading and index options, some of the most anticipated expansions in Robinhood's suite. Once again, a super big thank you to the amazing team at Robinhood for making this discussion possible. But without further ado, please enjoy this insightful conversation with Vlad Tenev.
This event has been spectacular. I know you asked me last night if I actually thought that this was, I think you actually put yourself pretty low. 7 out of 10 is what you potentially thought that this was. I actually thought this was a perfect 10 out of 10. I don't know what I would have changed.
Oh, well, thank you. That means a lot.
Yeah.
I think anytime you're doing this for the first time, you're not sure where the bar is, right? So
Yeah.
I'm sure we could have done a bunch of things better, but I do think it came out nicely, and we got the right ingredients, some new products, some customers, some industry luminaries and influencers, a lot of Canadians. You weren't the only Canadian. Like 5 or 6 people must have come up to me and been like, I'm Canadian. When are you going to be there?
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't even see that. Is this going to be a recurring event?
I think so. I mean, we'd like it to be. I think we had the gold event earlier this year, and we really liked a lot of elements of that. I mean, it allowed us to bring our community of employees, customers, the media, stakeholders together.
Yeah.
It allowed us to like put a ceremonial aspect to like the work that the company does anyway, you know, shipping products, rolling them out, figuring out how to communicate it. And so that worked really well. And we decided we wanted to do something for active traders.
Yeah.
But, you know, after it finished, I already started thinking about the next gold event, and we've been talking about doing something for crypto, and you know we've been making a lot of investments there, so a crypto event might make sense. So I could see the Robinhood of the future being just me jumping between various events, and if we have like many per year, I think that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah,
and that would actually motivate us, I think, to ship more product and always keep the cadence of delivering new things for customers.
No, I love the transparency here and the energy as well. I've been talking to all your employees. I mean, everyone is fired up about what they're doing, very mission driven. But let's actually dive into some of the products, because you announced essentially 3 very big products today.
Yeah.
So we have Robinhood Legends, the desktop dashboard that you guys unveiled.
Mm-hmm.
Incredibly fast, simplistic, but it's all web-based right now?
All web-based. Yeah, that's right.
What's the decision behind that?
Oh, rather than having a download
application, something like this?
I mean, I think now the sort of like gap between what you can make possible using web technologies and native technologies is just shrinking. So there's relatively few things that actually need, you know, direct hardware acceleration and like lots of GPUs. I mean, we're not building like a high performance first person shooter or something like that. And you know, you can even do hardware acceleration on web nowadays. So basically the unique things that we could do only on desktop doesn't actually overcome the friction of making someone download a new thing.
But some people should have seen, like if they were watching, I don't know if it translated through the live stream, but whenever you had the 4 monitors going at the same time, it's instant.
Yeah.
Like the latency, you guys, I mean, you've always been on top of that, but it's incredible that that's all done through web and it all works seamlessly. And so
this was the first time where we actually spent a ton of time like walking through how we can make everything fast. And you know, we've made a lot of progress. There's a ways to go, but it was actually one of the things we've been spending a lot of resources on, making things faster across the board from the UI UX all the way through to like back end order
Right.
handling and all of like the infrastructure components.
So another aspect that I really wanted to ask you about is right now, Robinhood is extremely, it gives people a simplistic feel, ease of use. As you guys add all of these new features, like you said on the desktop dashboard, you guys are adding news, screeners, index
Yeah.
options, futures, all of these things. How do you keep it simplistic, still working very quickly, allowing ease of use without becoming cluttered?
Yeah, I think that's a challenge for sure. But I think it can be done. I think it can be done. There's no inherent trade-off between providing information and nice charting and having the interface. You don't need a cluttered interface that's difficult to use to provide all of this information. And I think we've accomplished that with Legend right now. It's very customizable, but it's also simple. And I think you'll notice, I mean, you saw when my dad came on stage, he hasn't really used the product much. I mean, we did a few rehearsals, but that's pretty much it. But things kind of behave the way you would expect them to behave.
Yeah.
And I think that's the great thing about design, like the functionality. If you can make it so that the functionality is predictable, and if you like click on a tab and you can rename or retitle something, if like you take advantage of paradigms for how other products work to resize widgets and kind of drag and drop them and move them around, then you can take advantage of, you know, habits that people have built using other products. And that's what we've tried to do. And I think that's what gives us an advantage building a product like this from scratch, because, you know, a lot of the competitors, call it, you know, Thinkorswim or the Active Trader Pro platforms from some of the legacy brokers, a lot of them were created 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And they kind of like were built during the old Windows paradigm. And things have moved. There have been learnings that we've had from mobile devices and applications. Mac OS has become bigger, particularly among creatives. So the benefit of actually building something from scratch is you get to take advantage of all these new patterns and technologies and build something intuitive. So yeah, I don't think there's a trade-off. I do think, like, to some degree, Robinhood being considered a beginner-friendly platform has hurt us in a way, because the other side of that is, yeah, it's good for beginners, but, you know, it doesn't have the tools. And when you kind of like figure out how to trade or invest, you have to graduate to a real broker. That was something, you know, people have been saying for a while. And I think we want to shift that. And we want it to be like, if you want to be at the forefront of technology and innovation and trading, Robinhood is the place to be. And we should try to be as simple and as easy to use as possible within kind of the confines of that paradigm.
I've been thinking about this a lot, because the desktop dashboard, I assume it's expected to bring on users who are trading in such higher volumes. I mean, it's a more serious user.
Yeah.
Same thing with futures, you know?
Yeah.
It just seems like you're climbing up market, going after a more affluent user base, or just simply stopping people from ever leaving, you know? And
Yeah.
you're tackling this problem from all angles, and it's unbelievable to witness. But let's jump into the futures really quickly. So this futures ladder that you guys have created is unbelievable. Like, as you said, it just works. Like, the way you would hope it would drag and drop, you may not even be told how to use it, but the way that you would assume it works is the way it works. It's amazing design.
Yeah, I think like you would expect to be able to just move an order around. If you don't want it on the order book, you can just swipe it away. And I think whenever you can, you know, visually interact with something, the learning curve actually just goes down quite a bit. And so I think that while we designed this product with active future traders in mind, it could also do something like what Robinhood Options did when we rolled it out. Actually brought a whole bunch of new retail investors that might have otherwise not been introduced to the asset class into it. So we'll see. I mean, that's a pretty high bar, but I wouldn't be surprised if we saw an increase in retail futures trading.
That's absolutely what I'm thinking. I wonder how much impact Robinhood is going to change the futures market. And by the way, how large is this total addressable market in futures for you guys to go after? Like, is this going to shift your volume mix?
Yeah, I mean, we saw a similar thing when we rolled out options. You know, pretty much everyone was charging not just commissions, trading commissions for options contracts, but a fee for every contract. It was something like 65 cents now. I think it was higher when we first went live. And we came out with no commissions, no contract fees. And yet options became a huge business for us.
Yeah.
So I think that as long as the economics work out, which they do at this level, you know, we think that we can capture market share and we'll be able to do quite well.
Now, give me some insight into the market here. I mean, you guys are industry leading or right at the very top of APYs in cash accounts, lowest in margin. You got you know, extremely good pricing for options and equities, zero commission, and you know, all of these amazing feats. How can you be best priced across the entire board?
Yeah, I think one of the advantages we've been seeing is we do aim to have positive unit economics on every product. But the benefit of expanding into adjacent products is that you tend to see sort of like the tide lifting all boats. So when we launched retirement accounts, for example, there was a little bit of a question mark about whether, you know, you would actually just see customers moving cash that would have ended up in their regular Robinhood account into retirement. But maybe, you know, the total deposited would be the same in both scenarios. And we would just see a shift from the regular accounts where we don't have any built-in contribution bonus to the retirement accounts where we matched 1% and, you know, 3% for gold customers. So there was a little bit of uncertainty, but what we saw when we rolled it out was for customers that opted into retirement, we saw an increase in what they deposited and their activity into the Robinhood brokerage account.
And just more wallet share overall?
Yeah, so that actually increased their engagement with both products. And I think we're starting to see the same with the credit card as well. And so that's actually the strong incentive to expand to other products. You're actually at an advantage. Other products help adoption of sort of like each individual product. So if the economics work and these products do leverage similar infrastructure and capability, you know, for example, in order to trade something, you have to move cash from your bank account to your brokerage account. You have to have the money to trade it. So now that you're already building capabilities to move the cash, you might as well pay interest on it. And then, you know, that can help us expand into more of the traditional neo-banking services as well. We're already in the credit card.
Yeah. Also best pricing. I mean, 3% cash back is incredible across every single category.
Yeah, and I think that would be a difficult product to offer on a standalone basis, perhaps not impossible, but the fact that we have a brokerage business and that Robinhood Gold gives you access to all of these other benefits along with interest on your cash, I think that makes the economics of offering this type of product much more feasible.
Yeah. And lastly, index options.
Yes.
Very interesting. It's been probably one of, if not the highest requested product for you guys for some time. And the pricing is phenomenal as well. Like you guys came out, I think it's, what is it? 35 cents for gold members, 50 cents for non-gold.
That sounds right.
And just unbelievably competitive. I don't know of anyone that's as that low, or maybe one if I can maybe think about it. But so that's incredible. What was the sort of technical problems with getting into index options, and why didn't they originally launch whenever you guys launched options in the first place? What's the technicality there?
Yeah. I'm not sure how popular or common they were back in 2018. I mean, we've seen a lot of growth in cash settled index options recently. Part of that is, in a bear market, there tends to be a flow away from individual options into more of these broad-based, ETF options and index options. They do trade round the clock, close to round the clock as well, which is also nice. And you can hold them all the way to the close, which is a nice benefit. So I think customers have been asking for them. We have offered ETF options the entire time, which I think takes off some of like it serves some of the need. But customers are asking us for a lot of things. Index options. I mean, I had a lot of people as I'm walking around ask, when are you guys going to offer shorting? Are you against shorting, or are you going to offer it? And of course, that's something that we'll offer at some point too. So I think the challenge is just there's kind of three types of thing that we build for active traders. One is things that aren't available elsewhere. So that's like 24-hour market, unique differentiators. Then there's all the table stakes features, things that I can get elsewhere, but I'd like to consolidate it into Robinhood. There's a long tail there, more accounts, more assets, and not just active assets, but like bonds and mutual funds. People ask for those all the time. But yeah, a long tail of like table stakes features. And then the third is just investing in infrastructure so that we can grow comfortably and we can be resilient in the face of big market moves and volatility and increases in activity.
With the index options, going back to what you said about growing in your wallet share, is there any concern that that's going to be cannibalistic to your current options that you're offering, or once again, maybe this is something I have to ask you in a couple months, but
yeah, I mean, obviously it's too early to have any like hard numbers, but my guess would be it would not be. I think that, I mean, first of all, we're going to monetize both, maybe in slightly different ways. Regular options are through rebates, index options are through fees, and we'll see gold subscriptions hopefully go up as a result. And we're going to be offering extended hours trading for index options. So they're going to be available at times when you can't trade regular options. So I think over the long term, for sure, I expect it to be accretive, but probably a bit early to tell how much and whether that's going to happen right out the gate or there will be some time. But I'm not worried about cannibalization.
So 3 massive products just unveiled in this announcement. And then you have, I think, just a little over 2,000 employees that everyone that I've been able to talk to today doesn't seem siloed. They seem to be working, everyone's working across different industries or different sectors, because, the options team needs to know when Robinhood Legends is coming out. So but how are you guys staying so agile? Like, I mean, this is becoming a massive, massive operation. You guys are dropping massive new features constantly. And I feel like the bigger it gets more complex, but yet you're still delivering.
Yeah, and there's more coming, actually. We're not even close to done. I mean, I think that, a lot of times having a lot of people just does not result in you launching better products, safer products more quickly. And I think sometimes you need more people. The complexity of the operation increases substantially. I mean, you look at a company like SpaceX, you'd think maybe they would have 100,000 employees, but no, it's a little bit over 10,000, I think. So I've always been a believer of having a relatively small number of very talented people. Maybe we pay more for them, so our cost per engineer would be higher. But they should be more productive, more empowered, and they should be able to like deliver more for us. So I think a lot of our competitors have gone full on into offshoring and outsourcing, having engineers overseas. And I think the danger with that is, I mean, it's a reasonable path. It's like having a large number of remote employees, but my preference would always be to have people co-located and, as much as possible, have a small number of really talented people working together.
Well, this has been, one event that I've been able to take a little peek under the hood and see how this team operates. And so far, it's been amazing. I'm loving the transparency that you guys are coming out with. I mean, you got an investor day coming up in December. Very excited to see that.
We're excited about that. Yeah, that should be fun.
And if you guys continue to deliver on these gold events and everything like this, I can't imagine that people aren't going to get continuously excited about what Robinhood has to offer and truly democratizing finance. I think that is, a goal that you guys have shot for, but are truly achieving that. And as a retail investor, I mean, extremely grateful.
Yeah. Well, no, that means a lot. And I think there's a lot to do. The finance is so big, even just when you look at consumer finance. But I think that in 10 years' time, I'd like all of our customers around the world to trade, invest, earn through Robinhood. And we can help people do that for all of their assets. And I think that opportunity is very, very big. And I think with like great engineering, great design, and setting like really aggressive goals for ourselves and for our people, we can win and really kind of dominate that sector.
I'm an absolute believer, and I think that the total addressable market for you guys to go after is like sky's the limit in this industry. And it seems like you guys are really making your customers satisfied, and it's amazing to watch.
Thank you, man. Well, thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for doing this. And ladies and gentlemen, make sure you guys check out Vlad and Robinhood. And if you're not a user already in the United States or the UK, try it out.
Or the EU for crypto.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a Robinhood wallet user, even though I'm in Canada.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That's the only Robinhood product you can use, I think. But that's a good one. Yeah.
So far. Thank you all so much for watching, but bye for now.